Welcome to the MSL 411, a podcast designed to equip both aspiring and experienced MSLs with the resources they need to level up their career toolkit. The heart of this podcast is to take the same industry knowledge and advice that we share with our own candidates and make it available and accessible to anyone looking for answers. So if you have questions, you've come to the right place. We're here to give you the 411. And without further ado, let's dive right in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the MSL 411 podcast. We are so excited to be recording with a local Dallas area friend. Sonali has come on the podcast to join us today. And we wanted to bring her on to talk a little bit about networking, specifically for career growth. Sonali and I have known about each other on LinkedIn and whatnot, but I got to first meet her through a local DFW area networking organization. And so we asked her to kind of come on and share her perspective on pursuing professional and career growth, especially with the MSL role being a remote role where you don't necessarily have the visibility like you would if you were all working in an office together. So she has come to talk to us about it. We're so excited. Sonali, would you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background?
Thank you, Ashley, for inviting, and really glad to be here. A little bit about myself. I'm PhD by training, and right now I'm currently in a senior MSL role at a small to mid-sized company in the oncology space. So I started my MSL journey a while ago. Along with that, I'm also volunteer leader for Healthcare Businesswomen's Association's Dallas-Fort Worth chapter president, and really excited that we are able to bring these networking opportunities for others, and excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll just kind of go ahead and dive right in. I feel like there's so much awareness of the HBA, but there are people, of course, that are not familiar with it. Could you share a little bit about kind of what it is, what it aims to accomplish? And the question that I always get, especially when I'm talking to the gentleman, is it only for women?
Yeah, great question. So HBA is a 50-year-old organization. We have around 20,000 members worldwide. It is present in 80 plus countries. So there might be a chapter where anyone is located. You just have to go to the website and check it out. The organization is supporting women as well as men in the profession of healthcare and healthcare-related businesses. So that includes pharma, biotech, any kind of companies that are in this general sector of healthcare as well as businesses. And it's a great way to connect with like-minded individuals, grow and support each other's growth. We do have male members. We do need male allies as well. So we welcome both male and female members to join the organization. And a lot of pharma companies are actually corporate partners. There are certain companies, they actually provide all their employees free membership. So you always can check it out and see if your company is part of the corporate partner package, and do you get any of those benefits. But yeah, it's a great organization where you can connect and network with other professionals.
And I know last year we, as Symbio, our team had the opportunity to host one of your events, and it was really such an amazing opportunity just to see all the people that were involved, both men and women. I think some of the speakers that we had at that event were men, and it was just a really great event with folks from all over the healthcare industry. And it was just such an amazing organization to be able to participate with, and to kind of get that behind the scenes view. And what you do with the organization was really, really great. And I wanted to kind of dive into your personal values and how that's shaped the way you approach networking and connecting with others in your career, because the networking is such a big part of building those professional relationships and opportunities. So I just wanted to get kind of how your personal values have played into that for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for hosting one of the HBA events. It was really fun, and looking forward to many more. So personal values, I do value relationship building, and genuine connections is something comes naturally to me. I'm extrovert, so I enjoy like talking to people, getting to know them. So I personally enjoy that, and bringing that aspect to the community was one of the things that I wanted to do. We always hear about East Coast and West Coast, where there are a lot of networking opportunities, so many pharma and biotech companies, but I wanted to bring that to the Dallas area. So when it comes to relationship building, I think being genuine is very important, and developing that connection, trying to understand where other person is coming from, what are their interests are, how can I help them gain something that they're trying to achieve. That's where networking becomes critical. Is, in my opinion, is not transactional. It's generally like taking genuine interest in other person's career or their hobbies or their interests, just having that human to human conversation that helps a lot. And that's what I see being successful even in these events. When people take that interest in other individuals, their networking is more successful versus transactional.
I love that.
That's such an important point. I feel like there's really an emphasis on playing the long game a little bit when it comes to those relationships, because there's some people that go to networking events with a specific goal in mind, but making those genuine connections, those are the things that I think tend to last and um, go on for years and years beyond when you're just maybe hyper focused on one particular goal. Kind of moving into one of the themes of the show that we're doing today is about networking when you're in a remote environment. So, there's lots of organizations out there, like chambers of commerce or alumni groups from the university you went to, or maybe like industry focused associations, different things out there where people are trying to create connections. But for somebody like an MSL, like yourself, that is working in a remote team, in that specific environment, with you being remote and not having opportunity for visibility within your own personal organization, how would you recommend somebody leverage networking to build relationships and to find advancement opportunities, or mentorship when they maybe don't have local connections in their industry because their headquarters are on one of the coasts?
Yeah, I think there are two different things, right? Networking internally as well as externally. For internal networking, anyone can go about doing that by setting like a coffee chats with remote colleagues and connecting with their internal colleagues during conferences. Generally, I have seen conferences is the time where different departments come together, or company meetings. That's where making that intentional effort to connect with cross-functional colleagues and getting to know them. So that's about internal networking. When we talk about external networking outside their own organization, and that can be done in different ways. I personally enjoy, and whenever I have the time, if I'm going to specific city for KOL meetings and I see who is there, if any of my friends that I knew from a while ago are there, if I happen to have time, I reach out to them and say, hey, would you like to meet for dinner or coffee or something? That's a great way to utilize your time. You are going to have dinner that night anyways, and if you don't have a KOL meeting, you can meet with someone and just chat and get to know them, and develop that deeper connection. The other thing I also noticed is conferences. They're great. Generally, conferences are also very packed. There are a lot of work that is happening during the conferences, but even if you have like 30-40 minutes and you're walking around exhibition hall and you make those genuine connections or have a conversation, add those people on your LinkedIn later on, connect with them, you can still make at least 3 or 4 connections just by taking that small step. And sometimes I also think that a lot of the times when people see events that are happening around them, like HBA or another events, they think like, oh, maybe the topic is not of my interest, or this is not about medical affairs. But then those are the opportunities where you can still develop connections, even if it is you're networking with a leader in clinical operations, or maybe going for an event that is for like a commercial. You never know how those connections can help in the long run. I enjoy meeting new people, and I think I really think your network is your net worth. So I try and make an effort whenever I can. Those are some of the things I would recommend that help people grow their network. And I was thinking about it a lot, that we do this, MSLs do this for relationship development with KOLs, right? So you have the toolkit to do all of that. You just have to replicate that for your own career. So it's not something that we're not capable of doing, but I feel like sometimes people use it professionally for their work, but the same skills, they don't translate and use it for their personal growth or networking, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I wanted to ask a follow-up question about that. Is there something that has stood out in your mind where you've been on the receiving end of somebody that was looking to network with you? I wanted to ask, like, what was it about their follow-up or their communication? Maybe you guys met at a conference, as you said, and they followed up with you. What is a really effective way or a meaningful way that you've been on the receiving end of something like that?
Yeah, so I really appreciate when people keep me updated if I help them. And sometimes I go out of my way to support someone in giving them feedback about their resume or giving them some information about their LinkedIn profile. But then I really appreciate when they come back to me and let me know how that interview went and what happened next. Even if it is in negative news, I appreciate them telling me or keeping me updated. Some of the things that has stood out to me is when people are taking genuine interest and showing the work that they have done to take the steps towards the goal that they were trying to achieve. That makes me think that they're taking it seriously. It's not a one-time thing, or they are genuinely taking interest in my life, checking up, and it's like that genuine connection is easy to spot versus just somebody asking for something and then disappearing. I think people can figure out those kind of conversations versus a genuine conversation. Yeah.
I think LinkedIn is the best way to follow up in those kinds of scenarios.
It depends. I think sometimes initial conversation starts on LinkedIn and then it moves to email or a text. And then the person has to make a decision based on how close the relationship is. I don't want to be in a text conversation continuously, but it has to be like to the point, professional. I know what they're asking and I'm helping. So it depends. It depends on the context of the conversation and how well I know those people. Some people that I know, they have become my friends and I don't mind them texting me at 9 p.m. and I would still respond and help out. But for some folks, I may interact with them once every 6 months. So maybe LinkedIn is the best way. Yeah.
I love this conversation, and I love the part about just the face-to-face networking and all that you get to do because, when possible, when you are able to attend those events and network and face-to-face and meet someone for dinner, like you were saying earlier, you have to eat, might as well meet someone for dinner. We love those face-to-face interactions. I think those are invaluable. And I wondered if you might have any personal stories from your career where maybe an in-person networking or connection has played a really big part in helping you to kind of impact your career or advance your career or your personal growth. Maybe you have some personal stories about that.
Yeah. I think I have way too many. I think there are so many people who have helped me. Some of the folks, I don't even remember their names, but I can share one. This was a while ago when I was trying to break into my MSL role and I was still traveling for other role. And I would try to reach out to folks who live in those areas if I'm going to be there for work. And one MSL in New Orleans, and I really don't even remember her name. And if she happens to listen, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. So she met with me. She gave me a lot of amazing advice. And a few days later, I happened to hear back about an interview. She set up a call with me. She did a mock interview with me. There are so many times people have helped out. And I am grateful for all the support that I have received over the years. I think the network has been tremendous help in general, providing guidance about resume, providing referrals, providing support when you need it, when you hear that rejection, and there are friends you can lean on and they can help you out getting out of really dark stage. So it's always great to have those people that you surround yourself with. Yeah.
Amazing. I love those stories. And I hope that person is listening and they will reach out to you. That would be awesome. You have to let us know. Well, my last question to kind of wrap up our time together is just, what are some ways that professionals can proactively seek opportunities to network and connect and contribute to their communities beyond just, with a specific goal in mind, just like for the greater good, contributing to their community. Are there any events or initiatives maybe that you're particularly excited about for local folks in Texas?
Yeah. I think I'll give like a general answer first. Anywhere there are universities, a lot of universities and organizations now have postdoc associations. They try to bring in industry speakers to give them ideas about what career options are available for students. And I really like that because I remember those days when I felt lost and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I'm really thankful to give back. So I think anyone can look into their own university and see if they can give back and help out those students. They would love to. And I think a lot of people think that they need to have this amazing title in order to go back, but that's not true. When somebody is doing their PhD or postdoc, whatever information you can provide and insights you can provide that is valuable to them. I do a lot of work in local organizations like that UT Southwestern, and have been there to provide some guidance about career opportunities. So I enjoy that a lot. The other things that are also great, like HBA, there are a lot of bio organizations you can look up around your events. And then depending on where you are, there might be other organizations that do some events about clinical development. There are always opportunities. I think it's just a matter of like finding them and trying to give back. One thing that I really sometimes find frustrating is when people go through the job search and they finally land their job and they are on the other side. They forget to help others, and I think that's really valuable and important thing for me. Giving. Sometimes I try to give back, but it's not always possible. So I try to pay it forward by helping other students and other people. And I think they can always look up HBA. We have a ton of events in different parts of the country. This is a great resource as well. But there are always networking events. And one thing is, if there is not, you can always create your own and post it on LinkedIn and say, hey, we would love to have like a meetup of all the MSLs in whatever city you are in. And there's the restaurant if you want to come and have a drink with all of us or meet for dinner. There will be people who would be interested. It always takes one person to take that initiative, and people are willing to join. So if there are none, you can create some of the opportunities on your own.
I love that. I really just want to thank you, Sonali, for coming on the show. I honestly think that there is no one better in this industry at networking, especially when we're talking about in-person networking, than you. And so I really just wanted to thank you for coming and sharing your insights. I think this conversation has been invaluable for those out there who are watching or listening, looking for some tips and tricks to boost their networking game. So really appreciate you sharing all this information. Of course, if you're watching or listening and want information on any of the networking organizations that we've talked about, feel free to message us. There's a link in the show notes below. Or if you'd like information on the HBA, I am sure Sonali would love to share some more information on that since she's so closely involved in that organization specifically. Feel free to reach out to us, reach out to Sonali on LinkedIn, and just let her know you're looking for some more information on getting involved in your local chapter of the HBA. And for more great episodes, be sure to check back. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to share the link, let your friends know, and of course, connect with us on LinkedIn. And if you want more information on today's topic, please feel free to reach out. Be sure to check back soon as we continue to explore the topics that matter most to you in medical affairs.